We're live.
What's up,
We're
everybody?
on. What's going on? Oh, weekly. Who's gonna be the first one on? First one to comment?
Wins Jake's hat.
When? No. No. We're not giving away this thing.
We got one person on. First one to comment wins Jake's hat. Hurry up, Tiffany. She gets your hat.
Tiffany gets my hat.
Tiffany gets your hat.
Tiffany's gonna get all the first places in front of me, so I don't really think she wants my hat. More options.
What's up, everybody? We got Kyle on. Ron had little snowflakes on his hood of the truck this morning. Sweet and savory. Chris, Sean.
Oh, now we're gonna get to where my internet slows down. This is exciting.
Great.
Mason Dixon barbecuers.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for coming out again. Exciting night. We got Boggs Hog BBQ on. The divorce tour.
Coming off the divorce tour. Mid-Atlantic.
Make sure to check us out. 11th, or actually the 12th. We'll be there 11th hanging out, but we're cooking the 12th.
Yeah, that's right. We're going to come up and we're going to stay the night.
Jake's looking for a little redemption.
A little bit of redemption. Looking for a little something back. All right. We get about 20-some people on here. What's up, Tyler? Don Bacon. Sean McCulligan. Oh, Tiffany's going to be. See, Tiffany's going to get my hat and the first place at that one.
See? She was trying them new rubs.
Yeah, I know. She's trying a lot of good stuff out. I don't know. After talking to Boggs here tonight, I might wind up doing my first auxiliary here soon too. So we'll see.
Greg's got you beat.
Yeah, Greg's got me beat. So, well, speaking of them, we're up to 27 guests. Let's get on here and introduce our guest tonight. Boggs Hog BBQ. If you're in the Mid-Atlantic, you definitely know who this couple is. They are hot on SCA and KCBS, but they are tearing up Auxiliaries this year. Pretty much anything. Everything looks delicious. I see everything from desserts to wings to ribs to shrimp, all kinds of stuff like that. So without further ado, let's introduce Greg and Carly Boggs. Welcome to the show.
Hey guys. Hello.
Thank you all so much for being on here tonight.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Yeah. So we got to start this whole thing off like we normally do. Tell us, how did you get into barbecue? Who was the first person to get into it? Was it something you guys got into together? How did that work out for you?
So I really kind of got into barbecue back in my past career of landscaping. We had taken a trip out to Kansas City to tour some different landscaping operations around Kansas City area, and at every stop we went to, they would have, at the end of the day, they would have beer and burn-ins. And I had no idea what burn-ins were at the time. This is back in probably 2004, 2005. And then, so we went to a couple different barbecue restaurants out there, and it really got me kind of interested. So I got home, I bought probably the cheapest little smoker you could ever find, and I ruined some pork butts and briskets, and finally got to where I could make smoke a pork butt. And I would kind of treat my crew, my landscaping crew, my guys to, every couple of weeks in the summer and cook some pork and burn in baked beans and things like that. So that's really kind of how I got started. And then back in 2014, at this point I was up here in Jersey and working for Campbell's, and we did a American Culinary Federation conference in Kansas City. And as part of that conference, they were offering the KCBS judges class. And so I was like, well, that sounds like fun. Let's do that. So I took the class, and while we were there, we did a little tour and did 8 barbecue restaurants in that area over about a 7-hour time period. And then we all kind of passed out from a meat coma as soon as we got back to work. So that really kind of got me into the competition barbecue. And when I started judging, I had no intention of ever competing. I always kind of felt like it wasn't within my realm of capacity and financially and all that kind of stuff. And so I started judging a few comps and started seeing that, you don't have to have massive trailers and stuff. And so 2018, we decided to jump in, and it's been an addiction we've been chasing ever since.
Yeah, let's see that. And you guys are killing it too. Now, Carly, Dave's married. I'm engaged. How did you feel about starting this whole barbecue ordeal up?
Well, I used to love it because he would judge. I would find wineries, and I would just go get trash at a winery.
That's perfect.
And then we started competing, and I just get trashed at the comps now. As long as there's booze, I'm happy. I'm a little disappointed that I have to actually do a little bit of work and like make Kale boxes and like turn boxes in. It really kind of like interferes with my drinking, but I guess I gotta do it.
She's pretty simple. Makes it easy.
I mean, I'm the
head
cook, so I do it all.
Yeah, I was going to say you introduced yourself as the head cook. I thought that's what you were.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. It's all me.
In between the wine drinking, I'm the head cook too. That's good.
So, what was your first barbecue competition?
It was in Morgantown, Twin Valley Fire and Smoke.
Okay.
We
How'd that go for you?
Yeah, we pulled up in a 16-foot U-Haul truck because I didn't have a truck or a trailer at the time, and we did not need that big of a truck, but it was the only one that had a ramp, and so I had a Oklahoma Joe offset at the time, and so I needed something to roll that up onto. But because we had the space, we filled it up. All kinds of crap that we didn't need.
Yeah, stuff you didn't need. That's how I was my first comp. My gosh, I had so much junk in there. Like, why am I bringing all this? You never know.
It was middle of May. It was 41 degrees and rain the whole time. So I didn't sleep at all because I had to keep feeding the Oklahoma Joe all night, and it was fun. Driving home thinking I'm so tired. That was so much work, and then I can't wait to do this again.
I remember that. I was at that comp. I was tucked in the corner, and it was rainy and cold. And oh my gosh, I was like, my smoker kept dying down. I couldn't keep the temp up. I was like, this is ridiculous. But it was a good comp. I was like that. I liked that Morgantown one.
Yeah.
Now, did you do straight up pro right then and there, or did you dabble in the backyard a little bit? You did all 4 meets on an Oklahoma Joe offset.
I had a couple homemade drums that I still didn't really know how to use, so I was just using those to hold stuff once it was wrapped, just to make room in the Oklahoma Joe. But we just jumped right in. I don't even know if I don't think I really realized you could really go backyard first. I don't know. I just said, here we go, let's go, let's do it.
And that was in 2014, you said?
No, that was in 18. I started just in 14. Yeah.
14. Okay, yeah, because you started after I did, but there was no backyard reel kind of thing going on until this year that backyard even really existed, that people actually wanted to go do it. It was just a little side gig there.
Yeah. So our second comp was actually a backyard comp that year at Spring Grove.
Okay.
So I decided it was full. Pro,
we need to go.
Pro was full, and so I was like, well, let's just do backyard. And so I took one of the drums and borrowed the little one of the little platforms you can put on the back of an SUV in a hitch, and strapped the drum to the back of that and loaded everything else up, and we went and did that backyard. Yep, there you go, just the one drum and the little SUV. So that was our second comp, which is backyard.
Yep, there you go.
There we were.
Looks like getting ready for an SCA competition.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh, but since then, you guys have turned out some insane product. I mean, winning all kinds of awards, BBQ, the Barbecue Expo, all over the place, man. What was your first award, first call? What kind of drilled the nail in the coffin?
So, our first comp at Twin Valley in Morgantown, I was making all the rubs myself. I was making the sauces myself. I was putting a lot of effort in, but not really knowing what the flavor profile was or what was the best way to go about it. So after that, we were in the bottom half of basically of almost every category at Morgantown. We didn't finish last in anything. That was good, but So I started doing a little research and kind of seeing what was kind of the most popular rubs around and what was going. So I started buying some commercial rubs and some sauces and started playing around with that. And, that kind of got us going on the right track. But we did 3 other pro comps that year after Morgantown, and we struggled. I mean, there were some dark days. There were some long drives home just thinking, what am I doing? Like,
wishing that score sheet blew out the freaking window so you didn't have to look at it the whole ride home.
I mean, just thinking like that was so good, and then we would get 45 out of 55. I'm like, what in the, and so we started getting a little bit of traction, and so at BBQ in 2018, we got a 5th place rib call, and that was the injection I needed to keep it going. It would have been a long winter had we not gotten a call there, probably. What would have happened? And then after that winter, I took Dan Hickson's class, and then that spring I took Michael Fay's class, and that's where we got rolling. Just that little bit of instruction, that little bit of help, really made a big difference. And I convinced myself. It's like I always thought, well, the classes are so expensive. But then I started thinking, it's like, well, I paid a lot of money to go to culinary school to learn how to cook. So why would I pay some money to go to really learn how to do the barbecue and do it properly? And always with the go that I just need to learn some things, and I still want to do my own deal. I still want to do it my way, but just having that kind of instruction, having some of that instruction from people that have been doing it and know what they're doing is just you can't match it. I mean, I would suggest doing it to anybody that is trying to get back to the right side, and we still have some work to do, but it was definitely
you can definitely see some change here. It's really cool. I mean, you can see change in everyone's post, but yours is literally this was 112 weeks ago.
Yeah, I was hoping you wouldn't go that far back because there's some garbage on my Facebook.
But like you were saying, though, you go up here, and this was 91 weeks ago, preparing for the first competition of the season. You can just see how those classes changed, so much, so quickly. Like, you look back at mine, you see charcoal briquettes, you see something slightly edible, and you see something a little bit more edible, and then you see chicken thighs. So it definitely boosts your learning curve 100%. So that's crazy stuff there.
See Michael Fay advertising the dates there. I would, if you're wanting to take a class, I would definitely go to Michael Fay's class. It's worth it.
Yeah,
Dave, what was that?
I
don't know. Don't show it again.
It says chicken.
Erasing some of those pictures.
What is that? It said chicken got some work to do before the backyard competition.
Yeah, that's called not knowing how to cook on a drum.
That's like burnt chicken nuggets.
Yeah.
Wow. I'll tell you what, we all been there. I tell you, it's like, you go back and you look at stuff, and we did it a couple of weeks ago. Jake and I were going through pictures. We're like, wow, holy cow, we thought that was good. Oh man, it's surprising.
We were so proud of what we did, and then garbage. And then that's when stuff really starts picking up. I mean, you guys were at the Mid-Atlantic Barbecue Festival, which is still the Showboat Hotel and Casino, which is honestly still my favorite competition ever to this day. Not just because I got a pro call, but because I get to sleep in a daggone hotel room and take a shower at a competition, which was really nice. What's that?
So that was my birthday weekend, and he was like, "You always go to the beach for your birthday," and he still doesn't understand why that's not an appropriate beach in March.
It's a little bit.
No, it was snowing. It was miserable. It was a lot of fun though. That was the first time having a trailer for us, and we had the heat going. We thought we were kings that weekend.
I wasn't there. That was a good comp though. I went there.
It was. That's where Dave and I met
you guys was at the Newcastle competition. You were right next to J Bone's barbecue.
Yep.
And that's how I met you guys for the first time.
So, and then was that your guys' first SCA competition there as well?
Yeah,
it was.
Yep.
Oh, we have a guest.
Yeah.
Man, cats and all.
Come on, move on.
So, and that was your first SCA competition there as well.
Yep.
And that's a nice little 7th place finish at that one too.
Yeah, that set us up for excitement, and then later on some disappointment because we thought we knew everything, and then we realized that.
My first state comp was 6th place. I was like, man, this ain't this bad. And then I went out the second time, and it was like, shoot, 45th. That sucks. That was a short run.
Disappointment. You guys got a 9th at Bel Air in the Moose Lodge.
Yeah, and then we went from 20th, and then 25th, and then 30th, and then 34th, and then it was all downhill from there. But we're working on trying to get back up in the state.
So once you guys started doing really well with that, when did Auxiliaries come into play? Have you always played around with the Auxiliaries, or was that just something you took on this year? Because this year it's really stuck out. You guys have done killer with them.
So yeah, we always did them. That was another thing that I think I underestimated what they were looking for. The first time we turned in dessert and another side category was in.
Oh, it was so embarrassing.
It was in Seaside Heights in 2018, and we didn't know that people put them on platters and stuff. So we had 2 extra boxes and put Kale in it and turned in little desserts and little
I walked away
seafood appetizers, and she came back to the trailer and said, "We're not going to win." I was like, "Wow!" She's like, "You should have seen what some of those other people were doing. Like we had like these masterpieces on there." I was like, "Oh well." And again, we did okay, but I think it took me a little bit to really kind of see how much I needed to push the limits on the flavor of things and kind of overwhelmed. It's the same thing I think with barbecue stuff. Sometimes as a chef, I try to balance flavors too much and try to make it like you're eating a whole meal, and you're obviously one bite. So really trying to up that one bite game, I think, has helped us. And then, this year with the SCA stuff, we had 2 back-to-back contests in November last year where I won tacos and crab cakes. That put us in the top 10, and then there were no more competitions. So we kind of just sat there all year. And then we missed out on quite a few opportunities in July from the one in Pottstown and then Spring Grove.
Craig, you're giving the wrong person credit on that one. We didn't do the peanut butter one.
We did.
Where, at Mingle?
Yeah.
Did we?
Yeah.
Oh.
Too much wine that day. She forgot.
Come on, head chef.
So you said that you went to culinary school?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you do now
So I'm a chef at Campbell Soup Company. So I work in our food service division.
Okay.
So my job is partly to sell our soups to restaurants, nationally and regionally, healthcare operations, K through 12, business operations, things like that. If you think of Aramark, Sodexo, places like that, and then I also make new products for us to make and sell new varieties of soups and things. And I've been at Campbell's for 7 years now, and I used to work on all the chunky soups. I used to create all the new flavors of chunky soup.
I love me some Campbell's soup.
If you see chunky creamy chicken noodle or chunky chili mac, or I'm sad to say there's a chunky barbecue pulled pork that I was involved in. It does okay. It does okay, but the chunky chili mix really good. It's doing really well right now. So, but it's a cool job.
That is really daggone cool. That fits right in with doing the barbecue kind of stuff too. That's really cool.
My buddy's mom works there at Campbell's Soup too. That's actually close to where I work at. I'm probably in your backyard all the time.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I have not been there since March 16th.
But I benefit. Now I get breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So I'm happy.
That's perfect. You can't beat that at all.
Heck no. I'll take that. Shoot.
So what is your favorite auxiliary tournament you've done so far this year or overall? I'm seeing all kinds of daggone stuff, which I'm also getting confused between some of the dishes I'm assuming you make as well as all the sushi platters.
Yeah, we've not turned in sushi anywhere. That'd be a fun one to do though. I don't know. I think tacos are fun.
Mhm.
I think there's a lot of different things you can do with taco. I'd say, the one we're going to be doing in Catawissa chicken wings is not my favorite.
That looks good.
Yeah, so that was that. That was in New Holland at the one in September.
That looks great.
So that was one. That was Carl's idea that we executed, and unfortunately, she got second on that one, and she got beat out by mine.
I'll never hear the end of it.
I decided last minute.
Never hear the end of it.
I decided Thursday night. I was like, well, you know what? Let's just do 2 of them.
I worked on that thing like 5 different recipes to get that right.
So yeah, those are fun.
Well, what did you do to win? What did you do to beat her?
I did a s'mores banana pudding. Yeah, that one.
Oh snap, man!
So there's a bourbon vanilla pudding, and then some chocolate pudding with sea salt, and then it's topped with a marshmallow fluff whipped cream, and then caramelized, like a brulee caramelized banana. And then,
so all the extra stuff you do in the box, I mean, does that go towards appearance, or does it really matter?
But it shouldn't. But it's one of those things where I think it's more appealing to the eye to have something else to look at than the bottom of the styrofoam box.
Oh heck yeah! I'll eat the whole box.
So
I mean, that just looks amazing.
I mean, it's not necessary probably, but
it adds to the wow factor, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
Looks good though. I'll tell you that.
Really good.
I'll eat it.
So I'm trying to find here. Where are you all in standings? You were what? And you were in the top 10 for standings for Auxiliaries for a little bit.
We're still in the top 10. We're tied with somebody else right there in the top 10.
With 12. I think it's 12 points.
12 points. Yeah. So unfortunately, in Oklahoma, we did the wings and got 4th, so we didn't get any points for that one. And then we did Bloody Mary there too, and that was
My God.
Bloody Marys.
This thing was a creation.
I put way too much money and effort into it and did not get paid off.
It was gorgeous.
Yeah.
I don't think I even put a picture up. I was just frustrated.
It was gorgeous.
No, but you are still, tied up there for that. And ooh, how many more are there to do? Is Catawissa the last one, or
that's a
how
lot
many more
fun for us? Yeah. I mean, I have no idea what's still out there across the country, but I'm sure there's still quite a few in Florida and Texas.
The guy's from Utah, though, so you might have a chance. There might not be money much out that way either.
We'll see. Yeah, I mean, so if everybody wants to drop out of the wings at Catawissa, I'll be fine with that, and I'll do 3 entries.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you can do multiple entries on there, can't you?
Yeah, and that's one thing we started doing towards the end of the year. Is like, well, let's just do 2 and take a chance and see if we can't stay in the top 10. And so it paid off big time there in New Holland because we got 1st and 2nd. So we got 5 points instead of just 3 or 2. But so we'll do 2 wing turn-ins at Catawissa.
Okay. So how does your KCBS season go this year with everything that's been going on? How did it affect your plans? Did you reach any goals that you wanted to achieve and all with all what happened? Or
so we had planned on doing probably 21 to 22 comps this year, including a trip back home to Kentucky to cook at the Jim Beam Classic. So most everything was canceled. We ended up for the year, we got 11 competitions in, which I didn't think was gonna happen. So luckily our first one out at Delta, we achieved one of our goals, which was the first place category win, which we ended up being a 180 in brisket. So that was awesome.
Which was really he was cooking primes all last year.
That was the first KCBS comp I turned in a Wagyu brisket.
Really?
So that was, and so we got in the first 2 comps this year. I paid for most of my briskets.
Good deal.
So
you also got the 9th place on the virtual brisket for the National Barbecue League.
Yeah, that That was a lot of luck.
That whole thing was just a giant shot in the dark. Like I was so pumped up. I wrote a whole page essay for mine, did a video, like I was ready to roll. And it's like 280th. I'm like, oh, thanks. thank you a
He was
lot.
so upset. He called me all upset. I was like, oh.
I'm like, I don't even know why I do this anymore. It's like I'm getting my butt kicked in virtual.
Yeah, I think a lot of people had that same reaction. I would have too if the first one had not gone top 10 for me.
Yeah, but then you do 8th in the turkey.
Yeah. Actually, I was disappointed with 8th in that one. I thought we were going to win that one. I thought with the tacos we did, I thought it would be better than 8th, but you know.
I don't know. I don't know how I can get much better. I mean, of course, first, but that whole virtual thing, like I loved the idea of it at first, and then it like just destroyed me in an already sensitive time of competitions being trashed. I didn't know what to do.
John, the key is booze, and booze.
I didn't get your life involved.
I
don't know. I'm lucky. I'm lucky that she wants to do it. I know a lot of other people that either their wives don't come with them and they always have to pick and choose where they go and if they're allowed to go somewhere. I got lucky. She likes to do it, but you know, she likes to drink and she has fun. And I've always said that if she wasn't out there with me, I wouldn't know anybody because I would just sit in my site and not talk to anybody because I kind of keep to myself, but she's always out roaming around and I, you know, randomly will show up with a team and say, hey, meet them. Let's have a shot. And so,
carry my
so she carries this around and I swear I wouldn't know half the people that I know if it wasn't for her. She goes around and talks to people and makes friends and takes shots and she brings them back to the trailer and say, hey, meet these people, you know, and so I'm just lucky. I don't know what to tell you.
It was funny because a few years ago I was like, let's go camping. He's like, I don't camp. But now it's like, oh, there's a barbecue comp. You ready to camp?
That's funny. No, you gotta either get someone like that or someone who just wants to come along and hang out and then understands why $40,000 for a barbecue trailer doesn't sound like that bad of an idea.
Yeah, we got a tiny little trailer, but it's awesome for us.
Yeah, I got a tiny little one as well, but now she understands, like, oh, if I'm going to come to these, I need a place to sleep, and I want to shower, and I want to sleep comfortably, and we need an actual bed, and da-da-da-da. I'm like, you just keep racking them up there, honey. Like, I'm not going to tell you no.
Yeah, I put my air mattress outside, and I sleep on that sucker.
Unless Josh and Ashlyn take it.
Yeah.
Talk about the people. Oh, there you go.
Cheerio.
Talk about the people waiting for them with shots. Oh, so you guys got a whole fan group crew.
Yeah. I'll tell you, if you don't have friends or neighbors that greet you after a long trip with shots of bourbon, you need to look for new friends and new neighbors.
Me too.
I did not know we had friends and neighbors like that, but I'm happy we do.
So explain that. Yo, you're in your neighbors. Okay, so Josh and Ashton welcomed you to Kansas City, and your neighbor welcomed you home.
Yeah. And then when we got home from Currituck the week after that, him and his wife were out working in their yard or in their front yard, and they saw us pull up, and he ran inside, and he was over before we could get in the house. He was waiting. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Good stuff.
That's awesome.
If only I can get him to like meet me every time, like I go to the store or come home from work. You know, like that would be great. Like
that would be perfect. Man, or Dave, you got some old school questions you want to break out here?
Yeah, what we got? You said how you got started in barbecue and stuff like that, and we know the whole COVID thing kind of put a whole damper on everything. But I mean, is there a long-term goal or anything that you guys have in barbecue?
Well, yeah, I mean, so every year I try to set goals, and you know, last year in 2019, the goal was to try to get at least one top 10 call in every comp. And in 12 comps, we got calls in 9 of them. So that was, you know, so that same goal was rolled into this year. I think we did it this year, didn't we? Maybe I'd have to look back.
I
Then
think so.
the other goal this year we were going for was trying to get overall top 10 in every contest, and I know that's a tough one, but and then ultimately, I mean, a GC and hopefully multiples, but I'm definitely, I need to be in a rhythm. I mean, back to back comps and stuff are great for me because I kind of just get things going, and I have a hard time when I'm have one and then wait a month and a half and do another one.
That's what a lot of people say. I mean, if you're going to be competitive and you're going to do good, you got to.
Yeah. And that's what a lot of people say too. If you're only going to do three like every week or three every other week or something. Don't do one in the spring, one in the summer, one in the fall, because that just messes you up. Even it hurts your RBI.
Yeah, and there's people that can do it, but I'm not at that point yet. My problem is if I do a comp and I see my scores, then I'll start trying to rethink everything. So if I don't have to like reset and go for the next weekend, then I may sit and say, well, let's change this. And it's never the right idea to do, at least in my case. So the more I can just keep rolling out the same thing and making sure that I'm hitting the tenderness, the better we've done. But, I mean, going into next year, we've not decided exactly what all we're going to do next year. We'll probably be in at least the 12 to 15 range as far as KCBS comps, I assume. I don't know. It could end up being 30. You never know. Easily slide in to do 30. But, yeah, ultimately, it's probably the same goals as this year. But ultimately, a GC is always number one.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Hopefully, once we get our first, we can get on a roll and grab a few more here and there. But I don't know how long we're going to continue to do this, but I want to get a GC before we call it quits. For sure.
Yep, for sure. So piggybacking off that, as a chef and as officially award-winning barbecue cook, when do you decide to start tweaking things and changing things? I mean, I'm sure your chef side is like itching as like, oh, I can do this, or I can do this, or if we do this differently. What makes you decide on what to change and when not to change?
I don't know if I have an answer to that. I think if it's consistently getting low scores, or if I'm consistently getting the same comment card back. But I learned in chicken this year that, we struggle with chicken. We could have had a chance at GC at Spring Grove if we didn't do so bad in chicken. We had 3 top 10 calls and then 26th in chicken. So my first instinct was I got to change something. So I started changing the rub and the sauce, but come to figure out I needed to push the temps a little higher. So once I started cooking it properly with that same exact profile we started the year with, we started hitting in chicken, and we increased our average score by almost 6 points in the last 6 comps we did this year. So I think it's understanding exactly what you're trying to, we figured that out by talking to people, and we did a practice cook, and I drilled the judge. We did 2 practice cooks where I drilled the judges. I wouldn't let them leave without telling me what they're looking for in texture of chicken. And they couldn't exactly explain it to me, but I mean, it's just and talking to other people, Josh and Ashton are pretty good at chicken, so
a little bit. Not much, but a little bit.
First losers, right? No.
So
Brand taught them everything they know. Let's be honest.
So yeah, I mean, I try not to change the flavor too much. I just try to make sure that we're hitting our mark on tenderness and making sure that it eats good, because I truly believe at this point that unless your flavor is just completely offensive or just completely lacking, you can win as long as you get your tenderness right and it looks good.
Completely weird, completely lacking, or in Dave's case, completely unknown.
I seem to get there.
That's tough when you get the unknown flavor.
My favorite comment card was for a dessert it was a cheesecake, and I got a 7 in tenderness. So I don't know how I'm getting 7 in tenderness, but apparently time eating that cheesecake.
Wasn't that tender as I thought it was going to be. What kind of cheesecake you eating?
Wow. What would a 9 in tenderness be for a cheesecake?
Maybe it melts.
I don't know. Maybe
that ain't cheesecake. Cheesecake should be firm. That's crazy. What being that you started your barbecue and how how you started and things like that. Who inspires you? Or who inspired you, or was there anybody that inspired you when you got into barbecue or, kind of, pushed the drive to do what you did?
I mean, starting into barbecue, I think I had the same answer as a lot of people. I watched Pitmasters, I watched that show. I mean, if it came on this weekend, I'd probably sit and watch it for a couple of hours. It's, I've seen every episode, but
that's the bad thing is it comes on a weekend. It's like, yep, I'll sit here for an hour or two and watch a couple of them.
Yeah,
Guilty.
That was definitely part of it. I don't know if I would say like would say I look up to any of them. I mean, I think there's a lot of people in the Mid-Atlantic that I definitely look up to. I mean, Pig and Whiskey, Josh and Brant, Apocalypse with Michael and Lisa, and Dante, and Dan. A lot of those guys that have been there, they've done it. They're consistent. That's what I want to be. Like I want to be known like those guys. And Paul Parker's been great to us. He's always there to help answer questions and really encourage us and support us. And so that locally, those are kind of some of the people that we definitely look up to. And if we're not competing, we definitely look to see where they finished, and that kind of those kind of people. And there's others that I didn't mention that definitely are part of that group as well.
Yeah, that's definitely a really good core group. We got some daggone good competitors out this way. I mean, out west they have, Josh is going up against, Shake and Bake Barbecue, getting basted. He's out there running with the big dogs. But you come over here and it's such daggone stiff competition. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, and Bill Gillespie's another one of those for sure. I took him back last December, and he's become a good friend and always there to answer questions and talk about things as well.
Absolutely. What kind of flavor profile do you all prefer? It can be for eating. It can be for competition. What's your go-to flavor profile?
If we're just eating barbecue at the house, it's salt and pepper. I think that's another pretty common answer.
Except for ribs. I love candy ribs.
She likes the competition sweet ribs.
I want sweeter than what we make them.
But I mean, competition-wise, we're like everybody else, kind of that sweet with a little bit of heat.
Yeah.
But if I'm doing brisket or beef ribs or even just pork ribs at the house, I'm just salt and pepper and wrap them in butcher paper and no sauce. But it's been a long time since we've done that because every time I fire a smoker up, I'm doing a competition practice. It seems like.
That's one thing we didn't talk about. We're looking at your pictures here. I haven't seen a picture of the offset Oklahoma Joe, but I did see the drums, and now you guys are cooking on. What are you cooking on now? Are they backwards or are they Humphreys?
Humphreys. So yeah, we didn't even start the Boggs Hog page until we got the first Humphreys, the Battle Box. So after we did the competition in May of 2018. I realized I can't keep cooking on this thing. I need to get something else. So I'd always kind of been looking. So I was looking for a cabinet of some sort and looking at Backwoods, at Humphreys, at some others, and I found that Battle Box for sale out in Pittsburgh. And so we drove up there the first part of June. We picked that up, and then we started the Boggs Hog page around that same time. And then that year in 2019, we started cooking on the Battle Box, and then we had another homemade drum that I'd made. And then after, I think it was April of 2019, I met and talked to Bill Gillespie in Staten Island, and 1st of April, and he had told me he was probably going to sell a Humphreys Long Weekender that he had for a pretty good price. So I told him, I was like, yeah, I'll take it. And so I bought that from him at Spring Grove that year and cooked on it for the first time there. And we did well there. And so I've been running those two since then.
I was so surprised. I'm like, you just got it and you're going to cook on it? Like, you've never cooked on it and you're going to use it at a comp. He's like, yeah.
Yep.
All right.
No better time like the present.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's what we've been running ever since then. Is the Battle Box and the Long Weekender. They've been good to us. I like them.
Yeah, they're good looking smokers. They run almost like a Backwoods. I apologize for being ignorant with them. I don't know Humphreys that well. Are they run kind of like a backwoods does?
So yeah, so my understanding, the backwoods guys will tell you no, because the backwoods are the only smokers to use, and they're the best ones around. Grant, Josh, if you're on here, I'm sure you'll echo that. But from what I've heard and know, yes, they do. The difference is Humphreys are not airtight. Humphreys do have some areas where air can get in and out, but I think at a certain point it ends up filling up with soot and whatnot, so they kind of become airtight. But I'm pretty sure the story is that the Humphreys started being made because they run a fabrication company up in Maine, and they had a bunch of people bringing backwoods to them to do repairs on and to fix them up and rehab them, and they realized hey, we could build these, so they started building the Humphreys as a competitor to the Battle Box or to the backwoods. So yeah, I figured Brent would pipe in there.
But that's sweet. Yeah, Josh is messaging me. He sent me a picture of their second place chicken trophy. It's absolutely beautiful. And that was no means Brant teaching you everything you learned was a diss at all. It was, but because I know you're the true chicken king for sure. But man, oh day.
We did beat them twice in Oklahoma.
Oh snap! Did you see this? Josh is selling Josh is selling them and getting drums. Oh man!
Josh and Bran are going to break up again.
The real divorce tour.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Bob Tarpey uses Humphreys as well.
Yep.
Forgot about that. So what? Man, Dave, I'm starting to forget these old questions. They're still starting to come back to me though.
So, sorry, I got sidetracked. I was looking at pictures. You hot and fast? I mean, I looked at some of your temperatures and it looked like one was 250, one was 300. I mean, that's the norm for you guys?
So that changed, I guess, sometime this year. So we're still big meats are hot or 300 plus. And then recently we upped our other smoker to 275 because I wanted to get chicken at a higher temperature. So and then redid our rib recipe to cook it at a little bit higher temperature. So yeah, I mean we're hot and fast on big meats and right there in the middle probably, I guess, on chicken and ribs.
Seems like low and slow is just kind of down to the wayside now.
Yeah, I mean, I think for the big meats, low and slow is fine. When I would put my brisket and pork on the smoker at midnight, 1 a.m. and then try to go to sleep, I would dream about it, and they were usually not good dreams. They were nightmares, and I would wake up freaking out that something was going wrong, and I'd check and everything was fine, and I'd go back to sleep and then have nightmares again. So now I can go to sleep and not worry about it, and then I wake up, I put them on, and everything's good. So that's really why I changed.
So I kind of answered my own question. I had one lined up here in my head, but I swung it over to your Instagram and kind of found the answer to it. You guys made the switch over to legs from thighs. Is that a full thing, or is that something you just played around with this year, or what made that switch? No, we actually did that last summer. I think the first time we turned in legs was July last year in Wildwood. And it was something I'd been practicing, and because I just never liked the thigh. I never liked prepping the thighs. And there was a few other theories I had on maybe why legs could do better. But I was practicing them at home, and I thought at Wildwood, we turned in some really, really, really good chicken legs, and we didn't do so well. But we kept running with them, and our scores kind of started getting a little bit better, and then we kind of went stagnant again and started dropping. And so late last year, I came up with a whole new recipe. I started playing around with different combinations of rubs and sauces. And then the last two comps, the double in Jackson and the BBQ, we hit top 10 with the legs and thought, we got this. Finally, this is what we've been waiting for. This is what we've been missing.
GC, next up.
And so we were coming into this year that we were good, and so we ran the same recipe, and then nothing. And that's when I realized that I needed to start. I needed to adjust the cooking more so than the flavor and that kind of thing. So hopefully now we've got that figured out to a certain degree.
So you don't have to give the full thing, but I'm always curious with legs. I have not cooked legs yet. I really need to. That might be a goal for me here in my little KCBS hiatus to start playing around with legs. How do you prep the legs? I know there's a bunch of different ways. You don't have to go into specifics, but I know there's legs that are like, pulling back the tendon or waiting for the tendon to pop or removing the tendon. What do you all prefer to do?
So I remove the tendons and hope for the best. I had a span of 4 cooks in a row where every tendon popped within 20 minutes of it being in the smoker. And I still don't know why. I still don't understand. We finally quit doing it, but every time it did, I almost pulled the pan out of the smoker and just threw it on the ground. I was so mad. But we moved forward with them, and
they were still good. They were tasty.
yeah, they were still tasty. They were still juicy. But they just looked, they looked bad. But so we trimmed the big tendons out, and there you could go crazy pulling stuff out of a chicken leg. You get down to nothing. But we keep it fairly simple and hope that they don't pop. You guys,
I didn't know that was the key.
We heard that song so many times that weekend we were next to them in Oklahoma.
Dude, their trailer must be a riot. I mean, all the videos that she puts up in holy cow! I'm like,
I think she instigates it.
I was like, this is classic.
It was really funny though. Like we were all like ready to go to bed in Oklahoma. I'm in my tent, like trying to sleep. Josh Mashner in the truck. I think you went into the trailer or something, and the wind was just so crazy. And the next thing I know, like I'm like opening up my tent, and I'm looking out, and like we've lost half of the tent. Me and him, I start yelling. He comes out, like we're trying to like salvage the tent, and then Ashton comes out. She's like, "The tent!" We're all 4 out there, like running around crazy, trying to salvage our tents.
Yeah.
There's some pretty good pictures of it on here.
Oh, yeah. We didn't have it. And Paul Parker, he warned us. He's like, "Oh, it's not the windy season, but it's going to be windy." Oh, it was.
Yeah, windy season different than the Jersey windy season, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know what the windy season would look like, but I do not recommend going out there during it.
Oh man! So, what are your you're going into next year? Hopefully, we have more competitions again. Chasing that GC. Is there anything you're thinking about tweaking or changing after you learned this year with anything? Or are you just calling this year as a mild practice run and going full bore with what you did last year with next year?
Nah, I think we'll run what we're running. I feel good about what we have. I think it's one of those things. It's nothing crazy. It's nothing special. It's right down the middle. But yeah, I think as long as we continue to cook things right, we'll be in good shape. And there's always some luck on hitting good tables and that kind of stuff. But no, I don't plan on it. If we run into the beginning of next year and things are looking weird, then yeah, we might make a few tweaks here and there. But no, I think I'm happy with where I'm at, and I think the biggest challenge is just keep pushing tenderness and getting that right.
Here's a good question someone asked: could you do a whole comp on a battle box?
You could. You'd have to. You definitely have to get the brisket and pork done early and hold them. But I used to do 3 meats on it, and I did chicken on the drum when I first started. So I was cooking at 250. I was cooking at 225, and then I'd go up to 250 when I put ribs on. But brisket was usually already off, and pork was about to come off. You could probably do it. I wouldn't suggest it. You're really
at least set up with a drum smoker or something just to do your chicken or something like that.
Yeah,
just to have a little.
If you had to, you could do it, but it would be tough.
Yeah. Okay. Well, here's one. What is your least favorite but most memorable moment in your barbecue career?
Least favorite but most memorable.
Like the thing you learned the most from, like dropping the box at turn-ins or something or another.
I'm still married. I haven't done that.
Yeah, we've been lucky with those kind of disasters. I mean, maybe we just haven't been doing it long enough. I mean, I think
Jake already has one. He ain't been doing it that long either.
Oh yeah, I haven't been doing that long either. But trimming the box up and putting a glove in the box and getting DQ'd on probably the best comp of your life. Yeah, that definitely does not help.
We've been very fortunate that we haven't done that. I mean, we've had last year at New Holland, we got our scores, and we were last place in chicken. I'm like, what? And I got comment cards. I had 2 comment cards that said chicken was raw. And, we talked to the dude, like, well, they ate it. But I'm like, well, then how's it
raw? They're eating it.
But they ate it. So that was tough. And then our first year when we were at Seaside Heights, the chicken skin completely curled up and the brisket was crumbly. So we just turned in burning. It was so and it rained. That was one of my lowest spots for sure. And just driving home from that wet and cold and just lost and just not knowing where to go and what to do.
Yeah. Tyler and I have had those moments too. I'm sure everyone has had those barbecue comments where Tyler and I, will never forget, we left Interstate Barbecue Festival one year and we got about almost to my house and we realized that we forgot to strap the stuff down. And we were on an open trailer and we were just gone. Just went over and gone.
Oh man.
Yeah, I forgot about that until not recently. But what's another one, Dave? I know we got a couple more old school questions asking there.
Tiffany, no whiskey, bourbon. Gotta have that good old Kentucky bourbon.
So yeah, somebody had asked about the divorce tour, so we can get on that. So for those that don't know, the divorce tour started. So we started our little run with a practice cook mid-September. What was it? I don't.
It was 2 weekends before our anniversary.
It was the weekend before the Jackson double. So our anniversary was on October 15th. Our 5th year anniversary is on October 15th, and that was the Thursday before Jackson double.
So we didn't do anything. Just prepped for barbecue. Got in the truck the next day.
And so we went to Jackson, and then we get home from Jackson Sunday night. And then we're on the road to Kansas City Tuesday night. And so we get to Kansas City. Then from there, we go to Oklahoma. We do the double there. And then we go back to Kansas City. Then we head to Virginia to do the double, the Zombie Q double. And then we come home. We're home for a couple of days. And then we head to North Carolina to do Currituck. And so we are still married. We signed the papers. We just haven't filed them yet. So we're going to keep those kind of break glass in case of emergency. But we
hammer next to it just in case. Yeah,
we had our anniversary dinner on Sunday night. It was a month late, but Sunday, November 15th, we had our anniversary dinner here at the house, and so we're still married and everything's good. So it was a fun trip. We had sushi when we got back from Currituck.
We did.
Okay.
We did not eat sushi for our dinner. No, we had steak and octopus.
Ooh.
So yeah, we drove a little over 4,000 miles and I don't know how many. I forget how many, like 70 some hours in the truck.
And this is the guy that doesn't like to drive.
Yeah, I don't really like to drive, but and she drove all those hours. She drove 3 of them.
Way to go, Carl. That's the way to lead the pack.
That's what the lead cook does. Tell you to drive, you get it done. Right. You just sit there. You have your prep ready for the come.
The captain doesn't drive the ship.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh shoot, that's good stuff.
I love it. So you guys are going to be doing Catawissa. Are you doing the triple, or are you just doing the double on Saturday?
No, we'll do it all. We'll be there Friday afternoon, and
they do have a winery there. So if anyone wants to join me upstairs, that's where I will be.
I'm not a wine guy. Dave and I are going to be up there Friday and hang out, but we're just competing on Saturday.
Okay.
But we will definitely have to see you guys up there for sure, and please try some of the wings. Oh, okay. Hold on a sec. Not
your mullet.
Yeah, someone. This is a third comment about the hair. What's the deal with the hair?
All right. Well, I need a haircut one, but it's doing all right. It needs a little trim up, but we're getting back. I had to. It was looking better back in June, but I had to get a haircut for work. So, and then once we were getting ready for all this trip, I didn't want to risk getting a haircut and getting COVID. So I was like, you know what? I can't stand it growing. It's getting too long. So I just went the mullet route again. And here we are. So I still think it's more. I tell people that this is what it looks like when I don't get a haircut. It's just natural. They made a movie about me a while back.
Oh, yes, here we go. He's always encouraging the mullet.
Thanks, Chris.
All right, someone asked here one more tip. What is a tip for a 180 brisket? Can you give a little bit of a tip? This can also be tied into what piece of advice would you give someone starting off doing competitions?
I mean, I think with brisket, and one thing that I've continued to learn this year is push it until it's done. Don't pull it too early. Don't be afraid to, especially the Wagyus. Don't be afraid to push them. Because I've many times have thought, oh no, I'm going to overcook, and I pull it off early, and then I go to slice and it's tight. So yeah, definitely don't be afraid to push it. And then I'll say three eyes beef rub's pretty good, so you could try that too.
Are you? I forgot to ask. Are you using A9s from the butcher shop, or are you using Snake River Farms?
I'm using Snake River Farm Gold, and mostly because with that discount through the barbecue league. I did cook. I cooked 2 A9s this winter when I was teaching myself how to cook a Wagyu brisket. I did an A9 from the butcher shop, and I bought one from Smoking Dudes. Mm-hmm. And they're great. I mean, but once I got that 20% discount, I just started buying them. In bulk, and got even a little bit better deal on them. So, and once you start with a 180, it's hard to then switch to something else. So, we'll see. I don't know. But I think in general, just anybody that's learning is don't worry so much about flavor. Just cook it right. Learn how to cook it right. Learn how to hold stuff properly. That was a big thing that I messed up on early, just not knowing and overcooking stuff in the Cambro. Mm-hmm. Those are big things to keep an eye on.
Okay, that's a good tip. Carl, we're not going to leave you out. You just poured yourself another glass here. What's a tip on making a kale box?
Lots of booze. I always use my shot glasses to like keep the kale in place when I'm rolling it. And it's so funny because so many people walk by and they're like, "Oh my god, that's so like." Shot glasses, of course. Like I've been using water bottles. It's like, no, don't do that. That's gonna fall over and knock your box over.
So, are they the used shot glasses? Like, is there a little residue in them that's gonna leave something extra? Like, do I need to come steal those shot glasses or make my own?
Before COVID, we just drank out of the bottle, and now since COVID, we've been drinking out of the little mouth rinse cups. So yeah, no, we use the shot glasses are purely for the Kale boxes. It was really funny. The very first comp, like in his head, it was going to be serious. Like we're coming here to like use it, like we're here to win. And I start packing shot glasses. He's like, no, you are getting trashed at this. I'm like, we're the Kale, like calm down. And then like we get there and everyone's getting trashed. I'm like, you are the worst. Like, and I apologize. In the next competition we drink, and she had fun.
I don't drink beer. So they had the beer truck, and he's over there getting beers. I'm like, you mother.
Love it.
It didn't help that we were set up a spot away from Pig and Whiskey at our first competition.
Oh, no.
Told us that they're either professional drunks and they don't care, or they're professionals and they're just getting people drunk and going to win the whole thing, and then they won the whole thing.
Turns out.
Yeah,
they're both. I was going to say, I think they're both.
Yeah, exactly.
I think they're both. You gotta love the Pig and Whiskey guys.
Absolutely. Them guys are
yeah, that, and also you gotta give a shout out to Robin Garrett for all the limoncello she gives me at these SCA competitions too. Because
the Garretts are another good group, and they're fun to talk to, and they've given us a lot of advice as well. Rolf at New Holland last year, they were there to do the SCA, and we were kind of struggling with Brisket a little bit, and just talking to him and him giving us some advice and encouragement was great. So yeah, they're a good bunch.
Very good. Very good people.
Very good
People. So, all right, well, Greg, Carly, thank you so much. Where can people follow you? Watch the divorce tour unravel for next year. Social media wise, your Instagram and Facebook.
So we're on both of those at Boggs Hog BBQ. So yeah, if you're not following us, follow us. And my goal is to post more stuff and be more active. We'll see how well that goes. There's also a goal of getting a YouTube page started. It's already out there. There's just not much on it. But hopefully going to start putting some recipes up over the winter and trying to do some cool content on that. So
little Kale Box building 1-on-1.
What?
Little Kale Box building 1-on-1.
Maybe, I don't know. I mean, that's how she learned. She learned from YouTube. So
last year he did the worst thing ever for Christmas. Like, you never trust a big box ever. Don't ever do it. And I knew there was this big giant box for Christmas. I'm like, I don't know what's in there, but it's not going to be anything I want, like nothing. And I open it up and it's nothing but like 4 bundles of freaking kale. And it was like a Christmas ornament and that. I was like, I did not trust this box. Like, I don't think I ever laughed so hard on Christmas though. It was really funny.
Oh, that's crazy. So, well, thank you again so much. Look, there they are. They're the Garretts. They were going to pop in there. Yeah, I didn't see them in the comments. I thought that was a little weird, but glad they made it in here. But, well, thank you two so much. We'll let you get back to your evening here, and we will see you up at Catawissa. Hold on. Hold on.
All right, anybody wants to join in, let's go.
Sheesh.
Ready?
I got
Cheers.
Dig my coffee. Cheers.
Perfect.
Good stuff. That's a way to end a podcast.
All right. Well, yeah, thanks for having us on, guys. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we will see you guys in Catawissa.
Yep.
Awesome.
Can't wait.
All right. Well, that was a lot of fun.
never a dull moment on that one. That was good. They were good. Good people.
Never a dull moment. Good people. Guys, next week, before we start losing people here, we got a good one. If you are part of the SCA family, which I know a lot of you are, I know we've also shouted out John Lindsay's class a lot next week or in the past couple weeks. We've got Poncho and Lefty coming on next week, or just Poncho or just Lefty. I don't know which one I've talked to. But Poncho and Lefty are coming on next week. We're going to discuss a big topic. Did they change the recipe? That is going to be a great conversation because it's definitely become something I've known and loved. I've loved their marinade here for the past I used it a little bit last year too. But here's the new stuff, and Dave and I each have the old stuff. So we're going to find out what the difference is in the Poncho and Lefty's marinade next week. So I'm very daggone excited for that one. So with that being said, Dave, you got anything else?
I'm good.
All right. We're going to wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for watching. We will see you all next week with Poncho and Lefty, or Poncho or just Lefty. I don't know. We'll find out. See you guys.
We don't know.
Yeah, it could be both.
It could be both. Surprise.
This is Poncho. This is Lefty. All right. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks,
We'll see you next
everybody.
week.